Welcome back, viewers. I told you that there are a lot of things that we're going to see. It's lit, it's hot, and it's fire. The political analysts are studying some things that we never wanted to see. Let's find more. Things that are affecting the politics in campus. Let's now narrow it down a little bit to campus, more so Rongo University to be specific. There are a lot of factors that when we put, they affect so much, let me say to the negative, the way of politics in Rongo University. Let's start with propaganda. How is propaganda affecting the politics? Is it affecting it to the better part or to the wrong part? And if it's on the wrong part, what can we do to solve? Let's start with propaganda.
Well, I think I would say propaganda is a factor or an issue that is affecting our politics as a campus, but then not that many. You'd realize that maybe for political candidates, there will be a party that will want to propagate the other party. And this other party may be the one that we, the people, are going for. So if people are out here talking about this other person, you know, spreading rumors on social media, including our social sites, on Facebook and WhatsApp and other media channels, you realize that we get influenced as a public. We think that whatever they're saying is right about those people. Therefore, deflect our thoughts or our intent on going for these particular candidates and not wanting them and going for these who are not propagating issues, and at the end of the day that will become a wrong choice. So we don't end up having the right leadership.
So, try to answer this. Propaganda is affecting politics, positively or negatively?
It is affecting politics negatively. Yes.
Okay, so if it's affecting politics negatively, my friend, what are some of the things that we must put on board so that we can do away with negative propaganda? Because propaganda is a fact. That is something that must be there for politics to do.
Information is power.
Yes.
You get to a society where people are not informed, you can do your propaganda and be successful. I keenly follow the politics of America. I'm currently keen on the ongoing politics in South Africa. Do a comparison with Kenya. In a society where people are illiterate, propaganda will thrive, and thrive on the negative. So in the first place, the public domain should be informed. You see, if you inform them, then once they hear of anything, they will be keen and they will follow up and get to know the reality. So there is reality and there is propaganda. So you see, in a context of a university, we anticipate that comrades are people who are learned and they won't get swayed by things on social media. They will read them, but at the same time do a research on them. So in the first place, we must sensitize our colleagues that they must be researchers. Because if you research, then nobody can lie to you about perhaps my mentor, Scholar Evans. Because once a lie is told, then you'll be on the ground to get to know the reality and even approach the abused party.
Wow. So, information is power.
Information is power.
Hillario De Cashio, information is power. What if the information that brings power is false?
I would like to share the conviction with most of us here that, something that is told to you, that somebody tells you, something that you are told may actually influence your perception on issues. You see, when you are taught, most of the time you always see here those who are puritanic, they will always tell you that the one who teaches, the one who is taught should try as much as possible to share with the one who teaches the things that they learn together. So actually, when you come to propaganda, you realize that the things that we are told by other people, see, the people who are employing this propaganda, they may be able to change us. But I would like to take the same foot as my brother, the same mantle for my brother. It will only affect you so much. It will only affect you so much if you are not informed, actually, in whatever is being discussed. But if you have the basic knowledge of what you actually should do, you will be able to go back to your own senses and try to figure out, is this thing that I'm told about somebody, is this thing that I'm told about this aspirant, is it really true? And should I consider it as a fact in realizing what I want to have actually?
To our next factor that affects politics. You know, when you meet a comrade outside there, and then you ask him that your name or your surname has an ethnic base. So who are you? The comrade will tell you hurriedly, I'm a Luo, I'm a Kikuyu, I'm a Luya, but forgetting this term, I'm a Kenyan. Ethnicity. Okay. Is it affecting politics?
Okay. Ethnicity doesn't affect politics. It affects everything in our nation, sadly. I'm brought up as a Luo, but in some way I know dating a Kikuyu has a certain feeling, a certain mistake. Now, ethnicity has affected me when I was still vying for student leadership with this Luo factor, Kalenjin factor, Kikuyu factor, and my people factor. When I first vied, I went for a Kisi president. I was supposed to be his vice. I had to clash with people from my supposed clan who are Luos because I chose someone they didn't want me to go for. Then when I vied for the second time, I lost. Why? Because my people chose to betray me. So this people factor, this ethnic factor affects a whole lot of things, not only politics. Especially in Rongo University, it affects a huge chunk. You've seen like during the last election, all presidents are willing to go for a Kikuyu vice. He's a Luo, but he's willing to go for. No one dared to go because he's a Luo, he chose a Luo vice. Or because he's a Kalenjin, he chose. They want it to look like we are all mixed up, we love each other, but that is not the truth. They're just trying to hoodwink us into believing that Ubuntu power, or you see things like that, we are together, but that's not the fact. They're just trying to cover our face and cover our eyes. So ethnicity affects a whole lot of things. Round just they decided, no, we cannot have a president who is not a Luo. And they stepped down. We cannot. Till what they wanted. So ethnicity affects campus politics largely.
Wonderful. So, this scholar Evans, when you go to the campus, ethnic groups are always there. And you find that mostly nominations are being carried out so that they can present their aspirant. Like in Rongo University, we'll find Onagi having theirs. And then the Kikuyu group having theirs. The Kalenjin group having theirs. The Kamba group having theirs. And even the people from the coast having theirs. So, is this thing affecting politics? Do you think we should, as in just vie, or the ethnic-based group should present the delegates the way it do?
Okay. Many issues arising in my mind, because if I speak at the last, I may try to have comments all over. I'll just rush across the street. First of all, about the issue about propaganda, they are saying it's affecting it negatively. I hold the view that it is affecting it positively. It requires brain. You cannot define for me the term leadership minus the term influence. So propaganda brings influence. I've sat in many panels where I'm the one who makes a number of propagandas, and they are live.
We know that.
And it is towards for our victory. And Ogada once became a victory. It was part of the politics.
So just because, do you think that the lies that you're putting, these are the things that are affecting Kenya? These are the things that are reducing Kenyans?
The propaganda in politics is a short-term thing. Because we cannot only say that this person is dating this person, we cannot give them this position. Because it is not a family affair. After all, after election, they can choose to continue their dating or whatever, but the reality is they never won. So, to the substitute of propaganda, I can say cartelism is a vice. So I can talk about a cartelism because you can have a young man with good ideas, can actually represent our issues, but because of the thin financial muscle, and cartels want to oil their stomach, give us beer, give us food for us to campaign for you, this man will be afraid of buying. So cartelism is killing us, not propaganda. No politics without propaganda. Another issue, with the system of the dually, I stand the view that tribalism is not affecting us. Largely, this is the evidence. We have less than 50 people from the Teso land, and our speaker won with 14 votes, and is a Teso. There was no single Teso. Today I want to give you a relevant example. From your school and your school and your school, Mudhoni has a PA Kipyegon, who is a Kalenji, and Omondi, who is a Luo. After seeing that, that's why I decided to leave the Onagi group.
Why do you still have to mention the word Kalenjin, Luo, if ethnicity isn't a factor?
Fine. The reality is, we have what we call homeboy mentality.
Still
That is what-
ethnicity?
Yes, it is ethnicity.
Uh-huh.
But now
affecting
we are
this.
not using it to judge the people that we are electing. And the issue that she mentioned, and I strongly condemn, the reality says that fake it until you make it.
Yes.
If you're faking unity with the Kikuyus, that I can have a Kikuyu voice, we are faking it at time without number, we are going to make it. We are going to have it the reality that we are united. And the representation, there is a reason why we must have a post. According to our new constitution, vice or president, one, they must be of different genders. There is a post for ladies secretary. Only a lady must vie, not a man. We are trying to make it appear that we are also considering men or ladies in this kind of system. That's according to institution. But the reality can also be brought in the tribal line. Because there is a certain university, I don't like people who say Mara, that all the executive were of the same tribe. And it involved the university board to sit down to think over the issue. Because when a visitor will be coming and the name is Otieno, Uma, other people will not feel recognized. So I think the ethnicity thing is affecting us, but minimally.
Okay,
Largely.
so Mr. Scholar, just a minute. If you've said minimum,
Largely.
but each and every point that you've uttered reflects ethnicity on the negative.
Whether
So what are you
negative
trying
or
to do?
positive.
Yes.
I'm not
Because you have said about Laikipia
Yes.
and Masai Mara. You don't know. But the executive, all
The same
of
tribe.
them are coming from the same tribe. You have also talked about the Kalenjin, the Mudoni having a what and a what. Is it?
Keep going.
So what's your point? Are you sitting on the fence? or
Not
lagging at one
not
point?
really. I don't sit on the. There is no neutrality in politics. Let us make it clear.
It's true.
I cannot sit on the fence. You are trying to confuse one thing. If you study it keenly, there is what we call our roots. I'm a Luo, and that will remain a fact. And I should celebrate our culture. That is why during cultural, we have our ethnicity. We go back to our ethnicities just to celebrate our culture. But I'm saying this should not be used to judge or give somebody post. I'm trying to say we must consider a few things that when we are making a government, it should be balanced. That is what I'm saying.
So what are these things that we should consider?
We should consider that we cannot make a government, a Luo man or a Luo somebody going for presidency should not have a Luo vice.
So you're supporting that ethnicity affects politics negatively. So it should be.
Yes, it is affecting politics negatively.
You're in agreement. I'd like to
Scholar, just a
interject.
minute.
Yes.
I'll wish to say this. You're talking about culture.
Yes.
One thing that I want you to know about culture is that at one point culture must also change. There are a few things in culture that once your culture interacts with another culture, there's a few things that you borrow. And with the coming of civilization, there are a few things that you must also draw. Looking at ethnicity as a factor, I would love to trace it back to 1963, when we got independence of this country. By then, the University of Nairobi getting established, and you see it was an institution that was a national institution. I want to blame our late founding father, Kenyatta, because at one point he made that university to look like a Kikuyu thing. So to mean that he chose, like, he didn't want the opposition, who was by then being headed by the late Jaramogi, to show any traces in the institution. So nearly all the staff were Kikuyus, and everything was about Kikuyus. Later on, when Moi came to power, I think he also established Moi University. And Moi University was more of to be associated with Kalenjins. When it came to Kibaki's regime, like every region was claiming we need a university. And perhaps more than 32 public universities were established. But look at those universities. The case with Just, they say, if not a Luo, and you see, even if you went there and you say, okay, I'm a Luo, they'll tell you if you are not maybe from Bondo, you can't get it. So like any person who tells you that I want you to divide yourself in terms of racism based on your skin color, is the very same person who will tell you that I want you to redivide yourself into based on tribe. is the very same person who will tell you, I need sub-tribes. Is the very same person who will again tell you that I need a specific communities. Is the very same person who will even come to your home and tell you, okay, you must divide yourself based on this is the person whom dad loves and this is the person who is hated. So the thing is this, scholar, actually ethnicity is a problem, and we must agree on that. But we trace it back to the history of this nation. You can take an example of a country like Tanganyika, Tanzania. Tanzania is one country that will be having more than 120 tribes. But you question them about their first president, Julius Kambarage Nyerere. They will tell you he was a kind man. You question about his tribe, they will tell you like he comes from Tanzania. But you see, even a child who will be born tomorrow, a child whose mother is experiencing labor pains from midnight, knows that Kenyatta was a Jew, knows that Jaramogi was a Jew. So ethnicity has been there. It is there. Possibly it will be there. It is even a barrier to fighting things like corruption, because people still are putting on their own clothes. But the moment you start pursuing these people, they put on tribal clothes. So when you're pursuing Madam Anne Waiguru, you're pursuing Kikuyus. So funds are being misappropriated at an individual level, but when pursuance comes in, we are pursuing Kikuyus, we are pursuing Kalenjins.
So Hillario, maybe to clear this so that we can go to the next.
Actually, this issue of ethnicity in campus politics, and also it spreads over to the national politics. I'll actually have to talk about this. Ethnicity is actually depriving us of the hygiene that we need to realize, the hygiene that we need to have in politics. And I would like us to take a little mental tour, as if in the case to suffer the risk of repetition. But let us take a mental tour to Tanzania. Julius Nyerere was one of the president of Tanzania during that time, and actually was a great radicalist. And you realize that when you go to that place, they have quite a number of tribes. In fact, more than Kenya. There are about 120 something. But Julius Nyerere welded these communities together, such that you go to Tanzania today, you may never realize that this person comes from this place. In fact, they give very funny answers. They will tell you, if you inquire about the tribe of actually Julius Nyerere, they will tell you that they don't know. It is none of their business, and they don't even want to. That is the same thing that we should copy in this state. You see, history is of significance, and that is why one of these great writers in Nigeria tells us that because the lions do not have historians, it is the exploit of the hunters that will be seen in expense of the bravery of the lion. History is something to value. If the likes of Modibo Keita, the likes of Julius Nyerere, the likes of Nelson Madiba Mandela tried to bring this cohesion, who are we to disperse it? Let us follow in their footsteps and make sure that, you see, we want to encourage this to continue. I'm anticipating of a time in Kenya in which we'll even be sitting in a meeting like this and never be able to mention something like Muslim, something like that. It rapes my ears by getting to hear people talking about Kikuyu, Luo. It doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, thank you.
Actually, let me just conclude on this. Let me just conclude on this.
Yes.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
You see, but when will we ever change?
Well, it
actually pains my heart.
The scholar, we will give you time. But ladies and gentlemen, as for this time, things are getting hotter. And at times I might even dream of having some dispenser of water here. But let me tell you, let me assure you, right after the break, we are going to hit the nail on the head. Who is the man for Rongo University and 2022 succession politics? Maybe after Brian brings another question in between. So let's have this break. Keep an eye on this.